Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble. Acta non verba is the motto of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. I had appointments to Naval Academy and Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy. And Merchant Marine Academy's motto was acta non verba. In other words, don't listen to what a person says. Watch what they do. Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learn from you. So congratulations.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrive Time, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement, how to help you guys implement the SEO. And the coaching is just great because there's accountability, and it's just a fantastic way to grow your company. Having a relationship with Thrive Time it's just been amazing for MultiClean. Oh my goodness, it frees me up because then I don't have to take a class on search engine optimization or learn marketing or shoot video. That's not what we do. What we do is commercial janitorial service. And you guys are the experts on marketing, and you teach me and hold my hand and show me how to do it right. And therefore, now my company is much, much larger.
Folks, on today's show, we're joined by a real client. He may look like a male model. He may look like a hologram, but he's a real person. He's a longtime client. He's a man that we consider to be a friend of the Thrive Time Show and a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Kevin. Welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Clay, I'm doing great. Had a great Christmas holiday, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so first question, can you tell us what is your name, first and last name, and what's the name of your company, sir?
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas.
And how long have we worked with you approximately at this point, sir?
It's been about 6-7 years.
Well, hopefully by now, if you're a regular listener, you know what that jingle is.
And you're very excited.
One day a week, we really focus on the idea of if America is going to be great, we need Americans to be great. We need to be great at, having a calendar, having a watch, knowing where you're going, maybe have some goals written down, have a Dream 100 of kind of where you're headed with your life, the clients that'll help move your business forward. And key strategies, not spend a lot of time wandering around in the wilderness versus going to the promised land.
Yes.
A trip should only take about, few days, not 40 years for sure. A lot of you guys can relate. You might have been in seasons like that yourself. You want to break out of that. We have the guy that has helped us and literally thousands of other Americans do that. And wrote a book called How to Build a Successful Business. And it helps you whether you own a business, work at a business, or you're working at one so well that eventually you're unemployable and you can do it so much better yourself. That's always a good option as well. Mm-hmm. From the Thrive Time Show, the one, the only Mr. Clay Clark.
Yeah! Greetings from Tulsa, Jerusalem, and I'm fired up to talk today about this idea that we do have the time to become successful. And Dave, I've been doing what I've been doing for 20 years, and I always hear 3 excuses from wonderful people when they say, Clay, I loved your workshop, I loved your conference, and I loved all the success stories. I've met so many success stories, but the reason why I can't be successful is because I don't have time. That's the number one excuse I hear. The second excuse is I don't even know where I would start. And the third is I don't have the money. And so if you're watching today's show, my goal is that we could get you to a great starting point, because I know that everybody out there has the capacity to achieve success, including you guys, Dave. I mean, you guys have had massive success in different industries, and you maybe didn't have the time to start a podcast, but you found the time. You maybe didn't have the money to start a podcast that didn't generate any revenue, but you found the money. You maybe didn't know what to do, but you figured you probably needed a microphone of some kind. You probably have upgraded since then. But I just encourage everybody to understand that you have the mental capacity, Dave, to actually turn your goals into reality. And on today's show, I'm going to show you how to find the time to do so.
Two observations on that I'd like to throw out. One is whether you're involved in doing a project at church or at work, or if you want to get something done, typically always look for a really busy person.
Yeah.
To ask. If you look around at church, you're like, well, we need to start this new thing. We need somebody. And how about Carl? He kind of always shows up, here and doesn't really do anything. And like Carl's probably not going to get it done. But if you ask, Carol, who's already leads this Bible study, runs 2 businesses, has 7 kids, and they're all there. Like, Carol probably could fit it in and get it done, which is amazing because Carol has more on her plate than Carl. Carl has nothing on his plate. But when you give Carl a small task, he's not going to get it done because it's more of a Carl problem than a time problem.
Wow.
They both have the same amount of time when they wake up each day. And number 2, everybody has probably noticed that the day before you leave on vacation or something, the amount of things you get done, it's unbelievable. I talk to people about this all the time because I make this observation. They tell me, hey, we're going on a cruise. Got my anniversary, we're going on a cruise. And I always stop. I'm like, how productive were you the day before you left? And, everybody is more productive. You got a list. I got to get the cleaners, got the dog watcher, got this for the kids. I got and like if you lived every day like the day before you went on a cruise, you could probably own your own country of some sort.
Ooh,
at least
so
a small
true.
one. Somewhere maybe in Eastern Europe or something like that.
Well, okay. So what I agree with what you just said, because when you listen to what you said, you go, well, how productive was I yesterday? And so I want to introduce people to a couple tools, and then I have a little clip I want to play. So tool number 1 is you got to have a calendar, and you got to have a to-do list. So let me just give people an example here. This is my to-do list, okay? And on my to-do list, it's a lot going on here on my to-do list. But on my to-do list, at the bottom, written in marker, it says call Weimer. Why? Because Weimer is a client that I work with, and I need to call him today. Now, did I plan on calling Weimer when I woke up this morning? No. Why? So why did I write it down? Because we need to update his website, and so I wrote it down. At the bottom, it says, edit Jason Dean. Jason Dean is a guy who's been on your show. He's been on my show, and he sent me some content, so I'm going to edit that. So, but these are things that are on my list that I just wrote on, handwrote those things today. But the typed out items are things I already committed to getting done before the day started. And so you have a to-do list, then you have a calendar. And the calendar is an interesting thing because it allows you to decide what you value and what you don't. And so, tonight I am going to spend time with my wonderful wife and kids at 6:00. It's in the schedule. I'll be attending my son. My son runs the audio and visual for Metro Christian, so I'll be attending his event. My daughters are cheerleaders for that school, so I'll be there. And I put time in my schedule to do that. Last night I went out with my kids to do some Christmas shopping for the family. But it's in the schedule to do so. But what gets scheduled gets done. Now, this little clip I want to share, this is a woman who is a mother. She's an entrepreneur. Her husband is a very successful football coach, and yet she runs a very successful company while he is a very successful football coach. And by the way, they have 7 kids. And so when they reached out to me and said, hey, 7 kids. They said, hey, we're looking to take our business called Revitalize Medical Spa. They said, we want to take our business, Revitalize Medical Spa, from here, and we want to go to there. And just full transparency, full disclosure, I believe they're a little bit larger than 10 times. They're a little bit more than 10 times larger from the time they first reached out to us at thrivetimeshow.com to now. So from where they reached out to us, they were stuck. From that point to here, they're 10 times larger. And you can hear their story right there at thrivetimeshow.com. So again, you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can hear it. But if we can, I want to pull up that little clip here because I want people to see just the first 90 seconds or so, because this is a real person who, if anybody had an excuse, it would be a mother with 7 kids and a father with 7 kids, but they're doing it, and you can too. How much growth have you had from since you and I first met to now, as maybe as a percentage or something?
Oh gosh, I'm guessing, but at least 400%. Since we started, and that was through COVID. our sales are 4 times higher than they were since we started.
I just want people to reflect on that for a second, because I talk to people every day, Lindsay, who come into my place just like you do. People that come in, they're maybe not feeling healthy, and they come to you for treatments. People come into my life and they go, my husband and I were contractors, we're dentists, we're doctors, we're lawyers. I just got off the phone with a lawyer he's a great lawyer. He went to college. He's checking all the boxes. He has the degree, no customers. What do you say? The guy, I just talked to a guy just a moment ago, and he's in a different state, and he's going, I have the degrees, I've got the accolades, I've got the resumes, I don't have any customers. And you can tell he's right on the verge of a breakdown, in need of a breakthrough. What do you say to somebody who can kind of maybe feel like they're overwhelmed with this whole entrepreneurship thing?
I say it's doable. I have a husband that has a high demand career. He works 80 hours a week in the fall. We have 7 children together. They're all active in sports. So I know what a full plate looks like, and it's not impossible to be successful as an entrepreneur. You've got to follow the recipe. You may feel like Clay's given some advice that feels redundant, but it does work. And it doesn't require you to completely leave your other obligations alone. I'm at my kids' sports. I'm there for them on the weekends. I get them carpooled everywhere, and I still own a multi-million-dollar business.
Now I'm going to get into the details. I want everybody to listen to what I'm saying, but as I'm getting into the details, please understand, folks, everything I'm saying does not matter if you don't wow your customers, okay? So everything that I'm saying to you right now is predicated on the premise that you will wow your customers. Okay, Thrive Nation, on today's show, I am so fired up for you to meet 2 people. One, there is an unbelievable cheesecake.
Wow.
Okay, I'm
Clay,
humbled.
7 kids and all these activities, and she's grown her business by 400% during COVID.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, just to be clear. That video, based upon some of the background things, that's probably, 7-8 months old, and she just opened another location in Jinx, Oklahoma. And so that's how it's called exponential growth, right?
Wow.
So it's really hard to double, and then hard to double again, and then hard to double again, but they're doing it. And so I want to give people some action steps we can take right now. Everyone can do this, okay? So step number 1, I want everyone to write this down. This comes in hot from Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn says, you either run the day or the day runs you. So I'm just going to give people a real example. I'll be very vague about this, and Dave knows the code language I'm speaking, but I'm very vague about this, okay? So, 7 days ago or whatever, a very crazy thing happened in my life, right? So person comes into my life and says, kind of like that scene from Christmas Vacation where Clark Griswold throws the Christmas lights to the kid and asks him to untangle them. So it's like, here, and it's like, wow. And so you go, wow, that was an interesting thing. Now, I could have let that moment derail me. We've all had that happen. We've all had something happen that we didn't plan, right? A failure to plan on somebody else's part tries to create an emergency for you. So what I did is I listened to the person sharing with me about the thing, listened to it. My wife and I listened to it, and we're like, all right, I think we spent a total of maybe 10 minutes on it, and then you move. Because you could lament, you could dwell, you could obsess, you could get upset, you could sling mud. There's all those things you could do. But at the end of the day, you got to take action. And what I find for most entrepreneurs is when the first time a bad thing happens, most entrepreneurs lament way too long. They reminisce way too long. They get cathartic, emotional, deep. And it's when they're making cold calls for the first time and they get rejected. They dwell on it too much. The first time an employee does something weird, they lament too much. The first time they get our elephant in the room, our haircut chain. I remember the first time that we got broken into. That was not my first time getting broken into. So the first time we got broken into, I wasn't going, wow, this is terrible. Why would this happen? I go, well, I've run businesses for a long time. This happens often. In fact, it's probably an employee, And so I'm just telling you, if you're watching this show right now, you're taking notes, but something bad is going to happen. And Colton, I want to give an example. When you think about your show, you guys have been nuked off of YouTube, once, twice, 45 times? How many times have you been nuked off of YouTube, even though you're trying to adhere, or you tried to adhere, you're working on some new technology, but how many times have you just been nuked off of YouTube?
Yep, we've woken up 9 times to the email that says you are no longer welcome on our platform from the YouTube email. It's a bad email. It's not a fun email.
We're a danger to community standards.
The first time we were in your office when we got that email.
Usually you've put a lot of soul and heart and work. Imagine trying to start a fire and you're rubbing 2 sticks together and it's a lot of work and you got blisters on your fingers and all this stuff. And then somebody comes along and just throws water all over it, and then breaks your sticks apart, takes all the sticks and goes home, and you're like, "Whoa, okay, starting over." Rubbing sticks. You got to do that 9 times. That's what we've done in our flyover career with YouTube, because that is where the marketplace of ideas are shared in modern society is YouTube. That is the market of today's content.
Do you remember Do you remember my little pep talk that we had, Colton, about you losing your YouTube?
I do. I know it verbatim. Are you ready? You told us. You're like,
yeah, I'm ready.
Well, they're communists. What are you going to do about it? I'll give you guys a couple options of how this can go moving forward. You guys can be upset for the next 2 minutes. You guys can be upset for the next 2 days. You guys can be upset for the next 2 months or the next 2 years, but it's not going to make a difference as to what they're going to do and how they're going to respond. So you should start out by deciding how long you're going to be upset, and then you guys should move on. We said, okay, it's Friday. We're going to be upset until Monday, and then we're going to come back attacking. And we basically took the weekend. We lamented. We cried over our blisters. You know, there was tears, there was angers, there was some cussing, and then we moved on Monday and moved forward with our 2 sticks again to start over again.
So, you know, I'm trying to give people some mindsets, but then practical actions. Okay. So mindset number 1 is either you run the day or the day runs you. Okay. But the parallel idea here is you have to optimize your website. What? Yeah, I mean, if you're watching this show right now, your customers have to find you. So you're watching the show today and you go, what? I like the mindset part. What? I'm telling you, you have to optimize your website. Now, I am giving you a solution right now. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com, December 4th and 5th in Anaheim, California, December 4th and 5th, Anaheim, California, you guys will be there. Eric Trump will be there. Michael Levine, by the way, I undersell that. Michael Levine was the PR consultant of choice for Nike, for Prince, for Michael Jackson, for Pizza Hut. He's going to be there. Julie Green will be there. It's a great event, and you're going to learn how to specifically grow your business, but we will teach you how to optimize a website, and not having an optimized website is not an option. You say, well, I don't have time for that. You do have time for that. We're going to help you through it. Now, step number 2, you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. And I think about that, Stacy. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. And I think about that, Stacy, and I think about some of the stories you've shared about women and helping women optimize their health and journal what they're eating. And I remember on one of the shows you were talking about how a lot of times people don't even recognize the empty calories they're eating or drinking. And when you were helping people optimize their health, I think the first thing, whether it's your health or your wealth or your finances or your relationships, you can't change the outcome, but Stacy, but we can change direction. I want to get your thoughts on that, because you did a lot of health coaching with people, and I think what you were sharing with me in times past, that really resonated with me for entrepreneurs or health or anybody.
Yeah, I mean, truly, that is a great statement. I hadn't actually heard that one before, but that is so true. Changing your direction overnight. You can make a decision, and when you change the direction, ultimately, it will change the destination, but it is making that decision and then sticking to that decision on a daily basis. You know, it's reminding yourself. That's why I have things like dream boards and goal statements and things like that I'm reading, I'm looking at on a daily basis, because it's a constant reminder that the decision that I made will ultimately change my destination.
So good.
Now, item number 2, you got to make a to-do list. So I'm just being real, just trying to be kind of vague, but I'm trying to relate to people out there. Hopefully it resonates. When I had a very bad thing that happened to me the other day, I started to think about, well, what are all the things that are going to, like, what are all the steps after that thing? You know, so I made a list, and I'm going, okay, I probably need to call this person and then call that person too, and then do this and do that. And it's a lot of stuff, right? So it's a lot. Whenever you have a bad thing that happens, a lot of stuff. Also good things. There's a lot of action items. So think about this. Mar-a-Lago, we did a drawing where for anybody who bought a copy of Eric Trump's book, Under Siege, and they text my phone number, they had a chance to win a trip to Mar-a-Lago. There was a drawing. And we also opened it up for people that did not actually buy a book, because that's how certain drawings have to work. Well, we had a winner, and the winner, his last name is Martinez. And Martinez, great guy, but I have to get a hold of him. And so I'm going to read you the action items associated with just the winner here, because to me, this is something that needs, this is the kind of nitty gritty details that you're not going to hear anywhere else. Because here's my to-do list as it relates to just the prize. 1, I got to figure out what days we can actually go to Mar-a-Lago. So on my to-do list, I'm reading it right now. I got to figure out, wouldn't it be nice if you knew when you're going to go if you're the winner? I mean, wouldn't it be nice if we said, now, this just in, President Trump goes there all the time, and when he goes there, no one else can be there. Why? Because he's the president and Secret Service is there. So I had to, what time, what day can we be there? Okay, boom. Then I have to coordinate, okay, now that we got that, can Eric be there at a time that is available? So, okay, so February 18th, that's the secret. February 18th, so that's the date that Mar-a-Lago's open. That's the date that Eric's open. Okay, now it's okay. So we got that. Now I need to call the couple and let them know that's when they're going to go, right? Then I need to call my wife and verify that all 5 of our kids can get there. Then we have to get the tickets for that. Then we have to move things around to make it work. And I'm not exaggerating, there's probably 20 items associated with that one idea of, wow, we have a winner. And so if you get highly motivated, highly caffeinated, and you don't have a to-do list, that's a problem. So step number 2, I need you to have a to-do list. If you want to make that overnight mindset change in direction, you got to have a to-do list. Otherwise, it's just a hope, and hope's not a viable strategy. Even though I like hope, but the Bible says, Dave, in Proverbs, hope deferred makes the heart grow sick, right? So if you have a vision for a better future and you don't have a to-do list, Dave, can you talk about your deep, intimate relationship with to-do lists?
Well, it's just here's real life transparency. There were 2 items yesterday as we were kind of wrapping up our day, putting the house to bed is what we call it, kind of tightening things up. I never like to go to bed with anything on the counters and start the dishwasher, all that. So we're kind of, we kind of debrief on our day. 2 things that happened yesterday. One, I was supposed to, there's a very famous prophetic person that we're friends with that I'd been texting with and I was supposed to get back with, and I didn't get that done. And I told Stacey, she goes, well, how come you didn't get back with them? I said, man, because we were busy. Look at all the stuff we had going on. And and then I kind of made another excuse, and she started laughing. She goes, do you forget who you're talking to here? You're talking to me. And I'm like, okay, it wasn't on my list. I was remembering it, and it didn't happen because I didn't write it down. And she started laughing, and she gave me a hug. We were cracking up. She goes, like, that might work like in your head or talking, but she goes, you're talking to me. And so there's kind of an accountability there. Number 2, this is like a very practical thing, but Stacey cuts my hair. For one, she's close. Number 2, I can pay her with hugs, and I can't find anyone else to receive that.
And she's really good at it.
And she is very good. But I can't, and don't take my haircut as an endorsement for her skill or not. I'm just, in my family, you either have hair or you don't have hair. So it's kind of a pass-fail thing. But I do like it cut, and it didn't get done because it wasn't on the list. Now, everything that was on my list yesterday did get done, and I added a whole bunch of things. We did stuff with our grandkids. We got work done, did the job. I went and got firewood. I went and got firewood and find a person that could sell it to me, would pick that up. I got, we're going deer hunting this weekend, so all the different, got my permit, like everything that needed to get done, got done that was on my list. But the haircut wasn't on the list, and returning that call to that famous prophetic person didn't get done. And because they weren't on the list, those were the only 2 things that didn't get done that weren't on the list, and they didn't get done. So, and it's funny as I even started justifying why. Well, look at all the stuff we got done. Look at I weigh out what didn't get done based on look at all the things I did. But she starts laughing because there was plenty of time to get the other 2 things done. I just didn't have them on the list, and so that's why it was funny, like in our marriage, because she goes, "Why did that happen?" Well, because look at all the stuff we got done. We had this, we had the grandkids. I had to get the permit with the fire. She starts laughing. She goes, do you forget who you're talking to here?
Yeah.
Like I was with you the whole day. I know. Okay, they weren't on the list. All right, they weren't on my to-do list.
And I think one really key thing you guys both mentioned, it's kind of a subtle thing, but it is something physical. I think the to-do list has to be something physical. Otherwise, you said it was out of sight, out of mind. Yeah. And if your to-do list is out of sight, it's also going to be out of your mind.
Yep.
And, you could have the fanciest softwares. We were at a really nice business conference back in September. I mean, some like really, really wealthy CEO business people in the room. It was a packed house kind of thing. And there was a guy on stage just talking about the practicals of like getting stuff done, project management. And he was mentioning different softwares. And he said, but one thing I have noticed, most softwares get in the way of actual productivity. There's a point of no return where we're getting a little bit more, 1%, 2%, 3% more productivity out of this. But eventually you kind of get to a spot where it's more cumbersome than it's actually helpful. He goes, I think one of the best things you can do, get a pad of paper out and write down what actually needs to get done today. That's very important. I listened to Robert Herjavec. He's on the Shark Tank, real successful guy, billionaire person. Every morning he starts out, pulls out a piece of paper. What are the top 3 things that I need to do? And then everything else that probably needs to get done, but those top 3 things have to get done. That's how he starts his day. Clay, I know yours is made on an Excel spreadsheet originally or Google Sheets originally, but you have it physically printed out because then throughout the day, it's in front of you, but also you can put, call Weimer, in Sharpie there on your page because it needs to get done.
Now, I want to hammer home on this. You got to have a to-do list, right? And so kind of like the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation, they fit together, okay? Kind of like you got 2 gloves, they make a pair. A to-do list, you have to have a calendar, all right? So Jim Rohn says, time is more valuable than money And you can get more money, but you can't get more time. Now, I'm going to tell you a true story. I'll be very vague because I'm sure at some point somebody I know will see this video. But I get a call yesterday from a guy who left his wife for his wife's best friend.
Oh, no.
I get a call from a guy who left his wife for his wife's best friend. Think about this. A man left his wife for his wife's best friend. And he wants to have a conversation. I haven't talked to the guy in years. So I go, hello. Because I answer the phone, by the way. If you text that number to request tickets, that's my number. So I get a text message, I'm going, I don't know the number. Hey, what's going on? Hey, this is Clay Clark. How can I help you? And the guy introduces himself, and I'm thinking, I really don't have this conversation is not one I want to have. I can't really see this going well. The Bible tells you for a companion of fools shall suffer harm. And I was trying to be nice. So I said, how are you? And they go, well, I'll tell you this one thing. And I let it go, Dave. I probably got to where the person could breathe, a little bit, and I go, hey, great hearing from you. Hope you do well. Gotta go for two reasons. It wasn't in my calendar. I didn't schedule time to talk to somebody trying to throw shade at their ex-wife. But two, it's not a productive thing. It's not on my schedule. All that. But a calendar is what allows me, and I was being 100% honest. I said, hey, I got to hop into a meeting. Because it was true. I did have to hop into a meeting. But I have my days scheduled. But if I didn't cut that off, I don't even know what would have happened. What was the intention of that? What was the purpose of the call? Good. I don't even know. And I'm trying to give you guys these kind of maybe a little bit kind of uncomfortable conversations because that's the real reality of running a business. It's just like, what was the purpose of that call? What's the purpose of that thing? So you're watching today's show, okay? You got to have a new reverence for your calendar. This is the day that the Lord has made. We should rejoice and be glad in it, right? We want to view every day as a gift from God. What we do with it is a gift to God, right? We call the present a present. That's what it is. It's a gift, right? So the present. So I just encourage you, if you're watching this show, make a calendar, okay? So pro tip number one, right? Optimize your website, okay? If you say, I don't know how, you can schedule a free consultation at thrivetimeshow.com, or you can join us December 4th and 5th in Anaheim, California. Two, make a to-do list. If you say, I don't know how to do it, Eric Trump actually will teach you how he organizes his day at the December 4th and 5th Thrive Time Show Conference in Anaheim. Third,
so good.
You got to make a calendar. You got to make a calendar. And you say, how do I do it? I like to use Google Calendar, and then I print it off. Before Google Calendar, I just had a handwritten calendar. And full disclosure, I ran one of America's largest entertainment companies before I used a digital calendar at all. So I'd actually got to where we were doing thousands of events per year without a digital calendar. It's not ideal, but it is possible. And I encourage everybody out there, just have a calendar. Now, pro tip number 4, coming in hot and cold. And I want to get your reaction to this. Jim Rohn says, success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying the basic fundamentals. So when I think about the flyover conservatives, you guys do unbelievable research. You have to coordinate with the guest.
Yep.
And then you have to make an intro, an outro, a thumbnail, and then you see the David Green interview you just did with the founder of Hobby Lobby, the interview with David Green, the founder of Hobby Lobby. And I, as a viewer, might say, wow, that is a great show. I love that show. But what made it possible was your adherence to this daily, consistent pattern, this daily rhythm. And so my fourth action item would be make a checklist. And then commit to that daily. What's kind of your process of show prep? Because I think people maybe don't recognize the level of show prep and even post-show prep that goes into putting out the David Green interview.
Yeah, we actually worked with you a lot on this. And I remember, I can't remember the first time I saw it, but you had like a workflow that you developed with your clients. And it kind of breaks down because at the beginning, it was hit or miss, and we would have all these things we were working towards and working really hard on, and the effort would sometimes pay off, and you have like this great guest, and then that would happen, and we kind of start eventually like funneling this thing down. But I remember I saw a workflow that you had, I think for a dog training franchise that you guys were working with, and it was like the leads come in from here, and then this goes to here, and this goes to here, and this goes to here. So we eventually built this workflow that just starts with, we're going to invite guests. We're going to have a dream 100 of guests we would love to have. These are dream guests. We're swinging for the fences on some of them. We have these agencies that approach us about guests. We're going to kind of go through who are they approaching us with as far as guests go. So you kind of have this funneling process of where the guests come from, what happens after they come on, what happens after that, and then eventually we just started filling these in with daily calendar appointments to where we have a marketing meeting every single day. So the moment the show's done, what's the title of the show? And we all sit down and put our creative energy juices into what's the title going to be. And we have, we like to take all the meat off of the bone of an interview. So we clip those into clips that go on social media separately. And then those get turned into vertical reels that can go on social media to pull people in. Well, all of that doesn't happen by accident. At the beginning, it did, because we're sitting there, we're trying our best, we're giving our darndest, again, rubbing sticks together. But eventually, you have to sit down and kind of have to organize it and turn it into a workflow. And as clients of yours, that's a huge benefit. When I kind of saw, I don't think I did it on the first one. I don't think I did it on the second one. But by the time I saw 5 or 6 of your different clients' workflows, I was like, oh, it's just
we could do that.
We could do that. And I remember we built the workflow, sent it to you, and you were like, well, I do have some feedback for you. And you kind of gave us 4 or 5 different things we should add, to subtract, to add this, do this. Well, if you do those things, eventually you're going to run out of, leads. So add this. And we kind of worked on this with you and massaged it as a client of yours. And whether you have a dog training franchise or, you have a podcast or I've seen the sprinkler guys stuff. I've seen, different workflows for different companies. You need leads coming in, which for us is guests on the show. You need, content going out. If you're like us, you need, the actual product being delivered. If you're in a different kind of business, eventually you need to be able to market, and that needs to create a reciprocal future clients lead generation system. So that's the workflow for any kind of business.
I would just say this, my final pro tip for anybody out there. We got 5 we're getting into today, but I want to make sure we're all taking notes on what to do these first 4. 1, optimize your website, all right? 2, get a to-do list. Get a to-do list. You can do it. You can do it, yes. 3, get a calendar. Get a calendar. You got to have a calendar. 4, make a checklist. Make a checklist for the things you need every time you go to the store that need to go in your refrigerator. Make a checklist for cleaning your house so you never forget a step, right? Make a checklist for maintaining your vehicle. Anything you need to do repetitively, make a checklist. Make a checklist. Resist the temptation to not make a checklist, and make a checklist, okay? And then point number 5 here, Jim Rohn says, without a sense of urgency, desire loses its value. Without a sense of urgency, desire loses its value. And one of the things that I would caution everybody out there about working with me on, and it's both good and bad depending upon how you look at it, I have a maniacal, obsessive excitement about my clients having success. And so I follow up on the things that move the needle obsessively and with a sense of urgency, because I know that by default you will drift. Look at these stats, folks. According to Inc. magazine, 96% of business owners fail. According to Inc. magazine, 96% of businesses fail. Now, that's a bad stat, but when you think about it, in America today, there's only 9.1 million self-employed people. That means that you have a 1 out of 1,000 shot of achieving success by default. And what I find is the lack of a sense of urgency is a huge issue. And so if you're watching today's show, what I want you to, the final action step is I want you to commit to taking at least 5 action steps every day. At least 5 a day, just 5. It's so important to get in the habit of going, today, amidst the smog and the fog and the distractions and the perpetual chaos that life throws at you from time to time, you might be having a great day or a bad day, but you're going to say, no matter what, I'm getting these 5 things done. If you have this non-negotiable relationship with just 5 things, you say, you know what, no matter what. So right now, I'm going to share this with the listeners out there. They might not know, but my dad, he passed away from Lou Gehrig's years ago. And when he died, when my dad passed away, he left. He started writing books and blogs and things, and then they would not get published. And so when he passed, I said to my mom, I said, Mom, do you know where Dad's all of his writings were? And I asked my dad while he was still alive, and he was kind of directing me to certain places. Well, I ended up finding all these wonderful writings that my dad had written, and it occurred to me, wouldn't it be cool if I packaged that into a post-death book? Wouldn't that be kind of fun? And what if I gave that to my mom for Christmas?
Wow.
What if that was like? And so I started the process about a year ago, and it's tough because I'm reading it and I'm starting to cry, and I'm like, oh, come on, what's wrong with you? It's been 8-9 years, but I'm going to get through chapter 1. And so every morning it's like a waterworks, because it's like my dad was a great friend to me. He was a mentor. He's my father. And so reading his writing, I'm going, ooh, that's good. And I'm finding photos that parallel the stories, and I'm putting it all together. And I'm almost done. I should finish it basically 3 days after today's recording. I'm almost done. But you say, well, what is my sense of urgency? Why does this book have to get out in time for Christmas? I don't know that it has to. It's just I've determined in my mind. I've made a commitment to myself. I've committed to I'm not going to break a promise to myself. I'm going to commit to myself. I'm going to get it done. And so if you're watching this show right now, I just encourage you to get to some place in your life where you say, no matter what, I'm going to do these 5 things. I'm going to pull the weeds. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to call my mom and tell her she's the best. I'm going to read 10 pages from a book or whatever it is. But you got to find a sense of urgency. And I would encourage you with a sense of urgency, Dave, head on over to thrivetimeshow.com. We've got the upcoming event with Eric Trump. It's December 4th and 5th. Julie Green, quite a fan favorite, Julie Green, Amanda Grace, Pastor Dave Scarlett. It's going to be a great lineup. Michael Levine will be there. And it's not an upsell convention. It's not an upsell festival. It's 2 days. We teach marketing, branding, sales, accounting, legal, workflow, everything you need to do to start and grow a successful company. And you can find it right there by going to thrivetimeshow.com. And you say, well, how much are the tickets? It's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And if you use promo code FLYOVER, you have a chance to win a backstage pass. And as of right now, we're down to our final 50 tickets, and it's going to be a very interactive event. And so, Dave, I encourage your listeners to get those tickets at thrivetimeshow.com.
Before I let you go, Clay, I just wanted to tell you something really cool that actually just happened over the last weekend. So David was out of town. Colton and Michaela and then Avery and Thomas went to an event for married couples. And so I had the opportunity and the privilege to watch the grandkids by myself. So I had a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And so we sat down. They came over on Wednesday night. We sat down at the table, and I pulled out a piece of paper, and we started writing down all the things that we wanted to accomplish, all the things we wanted to do between Wednesday night and Saturday night. And we put up this list and we put it on our refrigerator. And each day we would pull the list down, we'd look at it, and we'd start checking things off.
And what would be an example of something on the list? Because some people here accomplish, they're like, oh, you wanted them to, remulch your yard or something like that.
Okay,
well,
so
clean the room or
and
something.
each person had an opportunity to put whatever they wanted on the list. So go to the park. That was one thing. Another thing was to make Fruity Pebbles Rice Krispie treats. That was another thing. Another thing was to go to McDonald's Playland and be able to play in the McDonald's Playland. Another one was to make blueberry pancakes together as a family. And so, we had all of these different things on the list, and we would pull out the list, and we would mark them off each day. And what was so fun is it's actually still on my refrigerator today. And the kids were so excited that when Colton and Michaela came home from their trip, they pulled out the list, and they're like, look what we did! And it felt like a successful weekend from Wednesday to Saturday because we planned what we wanted to do and we did each thing on the list. So even for something like that is so simple, it really does create something that could be just a Wednesday to a Saturday, a really cool time and event of doing things that you really want to do during that time. So I just want to say that's applicable even with a grandchild.
Yeah, it's a way of life. It's not like just to make money in your business. It's so you have these pockets of time, you don't exit them and well, we hung out. What'd you do? I don't know. We watched a show. And you sit down. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? It's like, hey, we're knocking these things out. And everybody feels like they had a say-so, and they got their thing done, and they were really engaged.
My little cherry on top I'd like to say is why I love these weekly connections is what Stacy just said. I have 5 kids, and I view a business as just a vehicle. I don't view business as a goal. It might not seem like that if you listen to just snippets or different things, but a business is just a vehicle, So whether it's dog training or haircuts or home remodeling or the wood floor business I'm involved in, I make money so that I can spend time with my wonderful wife and my wonderful kids. And that's really what it's all about. And so when we teach you how to grow a business, I'm trying to teach you more or less how to find the rental car that will get you from A to B. But your life shouldn't be about the acquisition of that rental car. The idea should be about what you're going to do when you get to that destination, what it's all about. And so I encourage everybody, watch this show, play it back twice, implement what Stacy just said into your family life, and it will change your life. And again, come see us, Anaheim, California, December 4th and 5th. That's thrivetimeshow.com.
So good. Yep, definitely go to thrivetimeshow.com, get a hold of those tickets, and we will see you guys in Anaheim, California. Clay, thank you so much
Clay,
for your time. We really appreciate it.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
4,000% from February to February. Now, I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February in the last 2.5 days. So, and the phone's blowing up. Everything's just blowing up. You're right. It is like a rocket ship. So we're pinching ourselves, actually.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But I recognized at the age of 15, I'm going, you know what? I am not going to live that way. And so I started a company out of my parents' basement called djconnection.com. And I decided I am going to have success. And so I reached out to millionaires and people that I kind of knew through church and friendships and parents of my friends. And I said, what book would you recommend that I read? I'm a 15-year-old asking this question. True story. And I kept being told, you got to read.
Hello, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Radio Show. It's an exciting time. Also, I think a treacherous time, a spooky time also. But it's always, danger is a good time. Today, my guest is Clay Clark, and I went out with Tom Wheelwright to visit Clay with Eric Trump also. And the reason I want to talk to Clay this morning is a very important subject called study. And the reason I say that is things are changing so fast, and many people are completely missing the show. Things are changing at rapid speed. Technology is changing. And so I went to Tulsa, again, with Tom Wheelwright and Eric Trump. And the thing I was so impressed about Clay is this word called study. I don't know. You guys must be in your water or something, Clay. But boy, I was so impressed how big you guys are. But what really impressed me was you have this huge congregation. They're all about guys your age. They're on fire. And you start your classes at 5 a.m. Now, let me talk to you about study here. We show our books here. Now, this is how I study. This is The Creature from Jekyll Island. It's on the Fed. And Clay's doing the same thing. We study. So I go out to Clay's place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's built this huge compound out there. And you guys start at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not by Zoom. They drive there. They show up 5 o'clock, bright-haired, bushy-tailed and all this. And they're on fire. Your group is on fire. So that's what was on Clay, this technology. You tell your group I was so impressed because, like I said, studies became a bad word. I got into fights in my own company because our staff didn't want to study anymore. And I don't know how they cannot do that. So Clay, anyway, welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show. That's what I want to talk to you about is how do you do it? 5 o'clock in the morning, you have hundreds of people showing up in your huge auditorium on your property to study. Anyway, welcome to the show, Clay, and what turns you on so much? That's what I want to know. Give us a little about your background.
My name is Karime Schofield, and the name of our company is Whistle While You Clean.
I am Sophia Schofield.
We live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we service the tri-state, so Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana.
We were getting a phone call. And we were like, why is someone calling our business line? That's unusual. And we picked it up and it was a lead.
I mean, it's been incredible, Clay. We've gone from 0 to 100% growth. We're a full functioning company. It's great. We're blown away at how well we're doing. So working with you guys have really taught us a lot about generating leads and pursuing our Dream 100. So we have a list of customers that we want to market to. And so we've been making phone calls. We've been showing up in person. We're trying to get near the businesses that they would visit if they were visiting a hair salon or something. And then we start calling them and we just start pursuing them. And then the other thing that we do is when we do cleans, we take a lot of video testimonials and we post those to our website so other customers can see. And then we also upload a lot of images of the things that we do. And so we're also asking our clients for Google reviews after we've cleaned their houses. And so it's this constant cycle of doing those things over and over and over again. I would say if you're on the fence, go to one of Clay's conferences. They are hilarious, they're fun, they're educational. They're so good that even my teenagers like them. And I would say don't let fear hold you back. If you want to start a business, do the obvious thing and hire someone who knows how to run businesses. If I wanted to get in shape, I'd hire a gym person, a personal trainer. This is like the personal training for business. It has been absolutely amazing. I mean, our coach is encouraging. When he first met with us, he said, do we want him to be like a drill sergeant with us? What level of intensity do we want him to give us? And I will say he is incredibly, incredibly encouraging all the time, and he just hits the same mark with us every single time. It's very repetitive, but I think we both really learn a lot every time we sit down and have a conversation with him over the phone. He keeps pushing us to go further, and he can recognize when we're afraid to do something, and he'll give us a little bit of grace, but that next week he's drilling us again, like pushing us to go harder. Our no-brainer offer is we are offering your first clean for $1. And that sounds absolutely insane. It even sounded insane when I was talking over it with our business coach. And I will tell you that that has generated some of our hugest clients. I mean, that has been like a game changer because it opened up the door to more clients, more recommendations, more leads. And we were surprised how far that dollar clean got us.
How important has it been for you to work out that scripting, even though you offer $1 for the first clean? How important has it been for you to nail that down?
It's been really important because it kind of it hones in so that you're not just all over the place when you're trying to explain what it is that you do. And a lot of times it's like you're a good person offering a good product and you have integrity and you want to communicate that. But when you go to communicate without a script or without practice, it's just like a mess coming out of your mouth, as opposed to having this, honed in practice where you know what you're going to say, you know how you're going to say it, and you can almost expect better results when you do it that way.
Had you ever been an entrepreneur before starting this particular business?
No, never.
Did you ever think about wanting to own your own business someday? Or when was the first time you thought, maybe I would like to open my own business?
Absolutely. I've probably been dreaming about it for about 10 years.
Okay, and let me go to your daughter here. Had you ever thought about wanting to team up and open your own business? Or was that something that you were maybe excited about or not so much?
Well, for me, my parents would always listen to your podcast and business podcast. And as I started listening to them, I started realizing that I wanted to own a business.
It's www.whistlewhileyouclean.com. Honestly, the hardest thing was getting over the fear. It was the fear of the unknown. There was like a cloud of doubt that, you can't do this, you're gonna fail. There was a few sleepless nights there when we did pull the trigger and join your team and start the coaching process. Even my husband put a little bit of pressure on me from time to time because it was just absolutely scary to take that jump and actually start a business. Whoa.